on that one.
Like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gone 2 o'clock, so welcome everyone along to our August meeting. And offer apologies, please. Speaking to Corley, the only one we have, can I have someone move that? Gallery.
Yeah.
Welcome along. Yeah, it's called the gallery, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoy listening to us. So we have 2 condolences. I just asked for people in the room to stand while we remain in silence to the Maniototo residents, Valley Steel and White Gallery. Thank you very much. Can I have someone move the minutes of the previous meeting of the true and correct record, please?
Yeah.
Harris. Seconder, please. Thanks, Helen. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Carry, thank you. Remind members if they feel they have a conflict of interest at any time to speak up. Right. Gordon. How are you today?
Great, so.
Always good.
So yeah, this is just an update for the board on the extension of the Naseby Cemetery project. So following removal of the trees, we've had to, I guess, have a bit of a change around in the layout of the cemetery, mainly as a result of the historical nature of some of the artifacts within the area where the trees were removed, and that we probably need some graves sooner than later. So before we can get doing that, council room on the next to our old cemetery, and we're going to stage it, sort of stage 1 and stage 2. So stage 1 will last quite a significant number of years, based on current burial projections. So I guess this is going to form the board and happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, so the old cemetery where the fences that was put up, are there any more going to go in, any more graves going in that area?
There's no room for any new graves apart, there's a few half dozen odds to fill in yet.
And they'll all go out, so where the road
will go outside with sort of where the car is.
Yeah. So where the road is into the cemetery, they'll go on the left-hand side of the road going up.
Yes, and we'll realign that tuning circle, I think, so it's corrected and more like cemetery rather than it being a road. And then over time, as space is required, move out to that free area. But there's quite a bit of work there, as you know, with stumps and other things removed. That'd be quite a few years down the track. And and it won't kick off till next financial year. And this, in the meantime, we will be tidying up, and part of the project for next year will be the fencing at the north part of the cemetery and tidy up those boundaries as well.
Replanting anything up there? Or?
We'd like to. I think we will. There's no water at the cemetery, so that's the limiting factor of getting things established. But let's try them first and see how they go. Might be able to get some community groups to help us for the first year or two. If they can get established, there should be a way.
Yep. Tied it up, not too bad. Really, I thought when the last one was up there, it looks all right. Just those big stumps there to come out in the end.
Yeah, and there's the scrubby plants that are there that we'll deal with them over the time as well, because they'll just grow into sycamores and things. So we need to deal with that otherwise. Faced with the same problem the different tree species.
Yeah, it won't take long either.
No.
It's time I'll be up. Right. Any questions?
Has people from the community gone down about the trees? Been them now, they used them for a while? What have you thought about it?
Well, I haven't really been since.
Oh,
Did the
talked to
new
a couple of people that most people seem quite happy. There are still people that don't like the idea of the trees coming down. But
new from that cemetery down.
Yeah.
well,
That's what some people have got.
like you do, if you did, it doesn't really make a
No.
difference. No, it is. I thought it tidied up quite well. The contractor, it was Jeff Skivington's in there.
Yeah, Orange.
Yeah, I mean, doing the tidy up. Yeah, so they've got they tidied up reasonably right. Once you've had machinery in like that, it's going to take a bit of cleaning up.
Yeah, I guess the best thing was that, all the, we got a pass mark from here to New Zealand on damaging any of it. This was European cemetery, so that's great.
Keep them happy. It's good.
Yeah.
Other questions? Happy? Thank you, Gordon. Are you going to talk later on about down here or
It's down there.
at the sprinklers?
I can do, I just got to go before 3, so if I'm teaching practice,
Or do you want to do it now? Or?
I can do.
I'll move report received.
Oh, sorry, Stu. Yeah. So we've moved out report we received. A seconder, please.
Yeah.
Mark Harris, all those in favour? Aye. Against? Thank you.
It's good governance. So, yes, the cricket, the other half of the cricket ground is getting in ground irrigation. Installed within the next month. I'll start that work, and that'll also be tidying up the previous work as well, raising those sprinklers or whatever needs to happen so it all works in a functional manner. So we've given strict instructions that the finished product needs to be like this, more or less, because it's cricket. So there's not much, you don't want divots in the cricket for the balls to be springing up, by surprise, hitting somebody there. They shouldn't be. So they've got their message and will be ensuring that happens before they get payments.
That's good. Yeah, no, just a couple of the guys, it was more the kids running along, little kids running along, they fall over a wet spot, the sprinkler face down and
Yes, as well.
they don't really want to go back out like cricket enough.
So it should be done within the next month. We should have it up by, irrigation time.
Yep.
That's the idea. So
Irrigated this summer.
So that system down there, is it a standalone system? Like, can you turn the whole system off? See, from where the water comes from? Is there a tap that turns it on?
Yeah, it's on the system in general.
winterize it.
That's what I would have thought.
Yeah.
I thought if they hadn't been winterised, they'd be coming out of the ground by now.
Yeah.
They've been well and truly.
Yeah,
That's right, maybe it's a bit of water.
I'm inquiring on it, but yeah, could be just water in the line.
That's good.
Those roadside fences in the stadium need to be fixed soon, or tidied up or replaced. The big trees are out.
Even the trees down there.
The hospital,
Sorry.
Perry Street. The big trees come out.
they start to get removed or they chip, don't they?
Starts to stay. Yeah, that we're
I think the rugby club guys are looking at just tidying it up a bit.
Yeah. No, spray it on the grass.
stuck amongst those, just the number of away because big expense to get out stumps.
Oh, yeah.
Not a great advantage if we can just hide them.
I haven't had any complaints about them really. It's quite good standing there with the sun on your back watching the game.
Yeah, I feel it's all person.
I think we'll do good and bad.
Right, thank you.
Right, thank you, Gordon. Donna, how are you today? Yep, we're all ready for you.
Wonderful. So I have for you today 2 financial reports. The March one was tabled from the last meeting, so it was cancelled, and then I have an interim June financial report as well. So I'll do a quick run through on the 31st of March one, and then we'll go into a little bit more detail 30th of June one, if that suits. So I take the paper as being read. The financial report for the 31st of March 2025, favourable operating variance for 129,000 against revised budgets. Revenue had a favourable variance of 55,000, with user fees, other income, reserve contributions, and internal interest received on surplus reserve balances driving that variance. Expenditure has a favourable variance of 74,000. This is due to contracts, fuel, energy, other costs, and building repairs and maintenance. However, it's offsetting overspent rates, expense, staff, and professional fees. Capital expenditure at this point was favourable by 324,000, with 23% of capital budget being spent. There were a few projects that were on hold while the council deliberated the community halls as part of the LTP consultation. Any questions?
Maybe with the community hall, the ones that aren't going to be retained, what's the process for them, and what's the process of taking them off the books, or how do they? Obviously, the negotiation hasn't happened. To what happens to them now?
Yeah, we start that process this year. That essentially the things that are going to be the best things. Start conversations with the community. I think there are a couple of resolutions out there on people who might want, first dibs on those buildings and things like that too. So we'll work through what that process looks like this year to start in the year after.
So that'll come to the board first before it goes to council.
Council have given us direction to investigate yes in the process. Go through.
So you've had proposals to do something with the individuals before they've gone to the communities.
Yeah, a couple of them came through. The proposals came through this a few months ago. Was it Pātiroa, I think, gave us a proposal. So we just need to have conversations with those groups.
So in the meantime, they've been funded, power and all those other systems until the disposal process happens.
Essentially, yeah, mostly lots of OpEx costs in there for.
So there's an 18 months grace for the communities that are still there.
Well, yeah, in about 18 months, but this year we have to work through it. Yeah.
I think for you, the next LTP is 2 years away. If decisions haven't been made or council wants to retain or whatever, then that LTP is the time to fold those discussions in, because that would have to set the funding requirements from 2027 to 2030.
It's going to be an interesting discussion for you, Dave, the next 6 months. It works. That's right. So everyone's happy with that?
Well, I mean, I guess so. If the community still now isn't happy with the council's decision, they have an opportunity in the long-term plan in 2 years' time to say, well, we think you made a mistake. Because if you have a new council.
Potentially, but council have resolved to divest, so that decision has been made. So that's the current policy of council.
That will just be the ongoing cost to be incurred until
that point.
We were happy there. The first one. I'm going to start the next one, Don. Oh, sorry. So someone move that report, sorry. Stuart Duncan, seconder, please. Duncan Howell. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Very thank you. Sorry about that. That's true.
So take the report as being read, and this is an interim financial comparing interview financials. This means that the final outcome may differ from the interview pay. We're not expecting too much of a change, but staying with straight cost allocations and depreciation and possibly staff costs might change as we make some slight adjustments through the interview processes. So for the financial report 30 June 2025, there was an overall favourable operating variance of 179,000 against the revised budget. This is a surplus of 291,000 compared with a surplus of 126,000 in the annual plan 24-25. Revenue had a favourable variance of 39,000. This is continuing to be driven by user fees and other income, reserves contributions, internal interest revenue. Expenditure has a favourable operating variance of $140,000. This has been driven from contracts, fuel, energy, other costs, building repairs and maintenance, and depreciation. Staff costs is unfavourable, and this is due to the decision of extending the opening hours of the Ranfurly pool to the end of April, which has increased the staffing costs. This, however, has been able to be offset by an underspend in the pool's contracts budget for this financial year. Capital expenditure has a favourable variance of there will be a few projects that are carried forward waiting for the and others just due to a lack of reduced resources during the planning time of the LTP as well, including the Arts Centre, Centennial Milk Bar, the Ranfurly Pool, Oturi Howard main projects. Any questions?
So the 49% of the capital expenditure a year, so even for next year, that's been otherwise is 51% not done yet, not spent.
Yes.
So that contract's not been done in time.
Or planning being delayed just to stretch resources.
And the favourable variances of the income side of higher revenue, where has that come from? Please don't tell us come from some of the walls of buildings that were divested.
So some of it will be rental incomes as well as rates which have been paid by those people renting them as well. And so those will disappear if the buildings disappear as well, and that the costs will also drop on the other side, especially if that raise expense.
That fuel and energies, council owned buildings and vehicles. Energy being diesel run service centre or
Yes.
every diesel asset, every
So the
energy cost.
the electricity.
So is that because we haven't used as much or the energy's got cheaper?
Because we used as much as we budgeted.
Cool.
It's a bit cooler.
They're a bit tougher up here.
We aren't visiting as much.
Other questions for Donna? Happy, Stu?
Yeah.
Can I have someone move that report be accepted, please? Harris, seconder. Now, all those in favour? Aye. Against? Okay. Thank you, Donna. No mayor's report, it's unfavourable.
Under me.
Mayor's report. Chair's report. I had a I was at the Truro Domain. There's been a bit of work done there. Some trees come down. Looks quite good in the end. They're all quite happy. They're going to do a bit of work on the tennis courts. And I think the sewage is getting dealt to later on. Good enough. The trees at the rugby club. There was a bit of moaning about them coming down, but I think everyone's standing there. The last game dunk was nice, warm sun on your back. The ground's not frozen. And I did mention at the time to some of them, there could be some more trees coming down in the next LTP, Gordy, in the next year or two. So no, there were no major complaints about it. So it's good. It'll tidy up. Like I said, you get some plantings down in there, it'll be fine.
The ground can't be kept as much.
No,
But that's not.
it's quite good. So dogs, I noticed there's a few dogs starting to wander around the town, whether it's the time of year. I heard of a guy today, was very complimentary in what he thought about it. But it's probably time we get the dog ranger come back for a look. Peter?
Yeah, we've got one. He's an ex-policeman, so he was an ex-copper when he had to be 6'2" type thing. So he,
Is that guy, what's his name, sorry?
Al.
Yeah, it'd be good to get him up for a bit of a look. We're just starting to wander around the town, no leashes, no one looking after them.
We'll follow that up with Lee. Rick.
The rabbit poisoning at the cemetery. Once they got all the signs up, I was just wondering, does anyone count the dead rabbits? Do they go around picking rabbits up?
Oh, but I see them.
Yeah.
Most of them. Yes. Just we had good feeding, so
Yeah.
it's not large. It's not this sign
Okay,
for a while anyway.
do they actually know how many carcasses they saw anywhere, or? Okay. It's good. I spoke at the council meeting about the broom around the roads. Yeah, it's, to me, it's getting out of control. It's getting out of hand. Because unfortunately, what do we spray them with, Stu? Good.
They're spraying with moxon at the moment. I think I'm not 100% sure of that. Most people use Tordon or
Yeah, it's just the regrowth from
himself here or something.
because they used to use Roundup, didn't they? But the regrowth from it is outstandingly bad.
We'll follow up with the roading team.
Yeah, and just because you spray it once with Tordon, with moxon, you only got
No,
to spray,
Tordon you've sprayed.
you only got to spray it once.
Yeah, they have been using the moxon, which allows grass to die around it, seeds to come away.
It's very skinny. Had a bit of talk about the elections and people standing. Had a few phone calls about people who wanted to stand, and I think it's really good that we got an extra 3 people standing. It's great. No matter what happens, if we all get back or we don't, I think it's great to see a good voting process going to come. Another Peter, I was going to talk about the solar farm. There's a bit written in the paper about it coming back for consultation, is it?
So they because of the number of submissions.
Yep.
So they sought a pause in the process so they could respond to the submissions. So it's still in the process. So they will respond to the submissions, and then I'm assuming the panel will reconvene the process and do oral submissions, and then it will be back on track to go, to be assessed under the resource consent process.
So the consultations, the panel will be.
It's an independent panel.
Yep.
I can't remember the names of the people who have been tagged, but if they did ask for an extension and they were given one because of the number of requests.
Yeah.
Probably not the only solar farm that's looking. There's been some other exploratory discussions and around the district as well. Well, not as perhaps as big as that one.
Yeah.
It's certainly topical right now. Anywhere where there's a high tension power line running through it, people are interested.
So when they have this, the panel, where does the panel reside? Do they reside here? Or
I would imagine that if they convene hearings, they would do it at the stadium. Make it as easier for the submitters to be heard. That's generally what happens.
Okay.
And we can follow that one up as well.
Will there be any local content on the panel? Like will it be
Where
Or a
we,
councillor or anyone?
I'd have to check. For some of these more complex ones, we go with independent commissioners who, just their trainers to what they do.
And a very timely response as well. Analysts.
Thank you.
It's been involved a bit in Ida Valley, what they call the Hills Creek Water Company. They're putting in their own stock water scheme down through the Ida Valley and around through Bex at a large cost to themselves. It's good to see a bit of progress in something like that, where they're supplying stock water. I think they're supplying to 137,000 stock units. But it's a large outlay for the farmers, and they're slowly getting through it. The weather's been against them from day one, from the day they got half a metre of snow when they started. No, they're working through it. It's quite good. And the only other thing I've got is about Mike Dowling. As you know, Mike passed away. Mike was the patron of the rugby club here. For how many years done? Quite a few.
Probably since then stumbled sorry.
So Mike, he was on the Maniototo County Council Works Committee from October 1986 until September 8, 1989. He was on the Maniototo Community Board from October 1989 to September 2007. He was the chairman from 2001 to 2007. And he was a councillor for Central Target District Council from 2001 to 2007. And that was when they went back to one councillor, is that correct, Stu? So he did a lot of work in the area of local body community, local body work, and the funeral was a rather large funeral. I gather it didn't end very early. And he'll be sadly missed, because I talk to him quite often. I know Stu talks to him all the time. And his favourite saying to me was, "What do you think about this?" He will be very missed. And that's my report. Just like to move that report be accepted, please. Stu Duncan, all those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. All right. Members' reports. Yep.
Well, not too much to report as usual. A few grizzles about the roads as usual in the winter. See that one down Maniototo Road's been fixed up so the water doesn't get onto it anymore. Whose responsibility is all that water?
Some would suggest that the Tiaki Maniototo plantings that were planted in the waterways
I was going to mention
move
that.
down the waterway and move
Won't help.
Yeah.
That's James dug down the side of the road there.
Well, I think the ditch was always there.
It's actually in the creek. It runs through, starts from Mark Islands. It's a different way to burn.
Oh, it gets out there.
Yeah, that's where it starts.
Down the starts, yeah.
It's down right behind, Rotherwood Bushie.
Oh, it does too. Yeah. Okay.
That ditch should fix it now with any luck at all. But yeah, it's going to be an ongoing problem. It's always going to leak out of that bloody ditch.
Till the regional council start letting you clean waterways out, it's always going to be a problem.
Farmers are allowed to clear waterways as a matter of course. I mean, that's been tested in the course. I know we had a court case in Upper Hutt, and the environment came down quite clearly. Farmers are allowed to clear waterways.
Some of these plantings may have been put in there, and that's the issue.
Yeah, well, I've seen a consent for a farmer to clean waterway, and he was allowed to clean 100 metres of it every 3 years. That was a consent for each plant for the waterway.
Make Shane might get rid of the children. That's about me, really.
Thank you,
No,
mate.
apart from that, there's been discussions about people standing. I mean,
Right, it's great.
it is good.
People are standing up, because I shouldn't say it, we're all getting older and grumpier.
I've been telling me that for years.
It's coming right.
So, no, so it'll be an interesting old election. Could be a few different faces here this time. A
Okay,
couple of months.
well, that's what it is. That's what it is.
That's indeed.
Right.
That's me.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Dunk.
I haven't got much. It's just on thunder on the broom with it. It's my usual gripe. I've had a couple of three people come up to me about the crossroads on but with Barney's Lane and Maniototo Road. Yeah, by Steve Blakely's. Where Maniototo Road crosses Barney's Lane. If you're coming
Is that
from,
at his house?
yeah. If you're coming from the south side, you can't see anything on your right until you're actually well past the giveaway sign. Road. Yeah, you're actually on the tar seal before you can actually see if there's anything coming. There's a couple of branches in those trees that probably could do with it whacked off, and I don't think Steve would have any problems with that. But the question that I've been asked is why isn't there a stop sign there?
Yeah, we'll take a note.
Whether you stop signs both ways, or just one on the bottom side.
The intersection.
We wouldn't have to have it both ways because you don't get much of a look to the right.
No, you don't.
I've come around there, it's been clear by the time we've gone all the house and someone right up.
Yeah. It is.
It's been a train there before.
It rained there a few years ago, but that was actually nothing to do with someone that was carried across the road.
You're talking about his trees that,
If you're coming from,
Put it up here, but I don't.
oh, look at that.
yep, so if you're coming from the bottom of the street up on Maniototo Road,
Yeah.
Yeah, up there, you can't see past the intersection, you're right.
and you get just above the arrow there. And there, where the arrow is, if you can't see to your right until you've basically got your bonnet hanging over the tar seal. And the giveaway sign is about level, I had a look at it in the truck a couple of days ago. And the giveaway sign is about level with the back wheel of the truck.
That wouldn't be that pretty. Yeah.
So we'll look at that map, the road doesn't even follow the road reserve, you'll be going on to a different angle.
It's a few of those in Maniototo.
It's slow to change the angle of the intersection.
I don't think it'll make much difference. Well, look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty much it is a T, it's not, it's writing, put it on a bit of an angle to make it even worse.
Did you just get the roading team out for a look? Or?
We'll make a note of it and we'll follow it up with Paul Fleet, who's running the team at the moment. And then when they're next out here, if they can sequence it out. Honest site visit.
And other than just the new ones that are the people that are standing correctly. Cool. Very, as said, it's all very interesting. Good luck to everyone.
That's good. It's good to see people put their hands up. Thank you, Doug. Stu.
I'll start the elections. Yeah, it's always an interesting time. It's a tough time for people sitting there because they're being put out to be valued every 3 years to whether they've committed to the community. And I know a lot of the council, especially up in Central Otago, there's a lot of people standing for a few positions and it's tough on them because you don't do this job for money because, you know, it's nearly a volunteer basis you're doing it for. So good luck to all the people standing and for some of them there will be a big change around some of the tables. And while that's a good thing in some cases, if you lose the experience, it's a bit like any work. If you lose an experienced staff, and the same in councils, and a lot of people start. And it's stressful for the elected members and for the staff too, because the whole process of up speeding people. But it is a process. Negotiating, we've been dealing with the gold mine. Interesting. Just having chats with Peter, we've got a road reserve that's through there, or a couple of roads through the gold mine, so getting an evaluation done on that. Trying to come out with a solution that is practicable, financially viable for Central Otago District Council. And obviously, if fast track works and it goes through, it's a big project for Central in general. One of the interesting parts of that is a lot of people have shares in the gold mining company, have conflict, and there's actually only a limited number of us that can actually do the negotiating or do the report. So there's a lot of work going through staff, and Peter's been actively involved. And I guess it'll be a process we go through, but hopefully it's a good outcome to the community.
And they've got this end of Thompson's Gorge shut because they're working on the far end of Thompson's Gorge, aren't they? With it.
Yeah, I see a lot of Fulton Hogan trucks go up there, Dad.
Yeah, on the home account side, the road shut to the top. If you got to work up there. Sorry, Stu.
Haven't had some reasonably good discussions about roads. I mean, it's winter roads are always a bit tricky, and we've had a bit of late frost. Had a discussion with some of the Fulton Hogan senior management. You know, just what is going on, and look at the Pulburn corner where we had the tar seal chip lifted. We get a lot of grief at our level on the roads, but every road is a bit different in dynamics. But my message to the staff and to Fulton Hogan, we've got to make sure we get a heavy grade or a heavy cut or do something in these spring roads to set them up. They have got better because it has dried out a wee bit, but they were pretty wet. But make no bones about it, those discussions have been had at all levels there, and they are well aware, Fulton Hogan are well aware of the frustration a lot of people find in the community. But that Pulburn corner really, I drove over it yesterday, and a lot of the seals lifting because the tars failed and the moisture's got in, and it's going to be a reseal job, I think. So it's always frustrating for them as much as it is for us.
It seems funny how it's lifted in patches. But normally you get something like that. You're failure for a big strip, but just
Yeah.
a wee bit.
And I think the rain event affected the roads in Central Otago when they put roads in Stewart Island and Northern, where it rains a lot more than here. But it is what it is, and it's got to be fixed, and it will be fixed. I went to the sponsors night and the prize giving for the rugby club and the netball club. There was about 100 people there, and it was really good. And there's so many different people you don't know. And Eden Carson was a World Cup cricket winner, and she spoke. So it's another world champion that come out of these small little regions, and just goes and we talked about the cricket here today and getting the field. But a lot of these wee communities produce some amazing sports people. She was one, and rather humorous speech she made. But, you know, there's a whole lot of people come in this community and then just fall in love with it. And the rugby club and the netball team were no different. So it was a really good night. Not a lot of sponsors there, but they had a good night and it was well done. And equally last night, a lot of those same people in the Young Farmers Quiz night, and I think there was about 10 or dozen teams at the Wedderburn Tavern and raising funds for whatever they put their money into. So there's plenty going on around the place. Question for Peter. In the paper the other day, a discussion with Christchurch Airport. Have they still been having conversations with us?
Well, no, not with us, but Christchurch Airport owns 750 hectares of prime farmland and terrace.
Yeah.
Well, they pay their rates. And as to what aspirations they want to do with that, is still very much that no, we don't. I'm assuming it's still percolating in the background, but nothing
Well,
substantial.
the report in the paper said they looked even as far as Ramsville and Alexandria for an airport, and
That's right. That seemed to come out of the blue, didn't it? It was their assessment report
Yeah.
on why they selected tariffs.
that was interesting because we have been doing the Regional Council Queenstown and Central Otago District Council with the, what do you call it? Regional deals, and I've suggested in any regional deal discussion where the 30-year plan, the Christchurch International Airport, maybe at Terrace still should be in that discussion, but I don't think Queenstown are that keen on that idea, but it must, if it's still regenerating in the back. Now, one of the complaints I've had about the roading guys was GPS. And I've got a neighbour who lived down nearly on the mud track, and trucks are getting stuck. Truck and trailer units are coming in from elsewhere. I'm not sure it's because of the bridge weight restrictions and the GPS is sending them over, but the staff tell me when I talking to Paul about it. So they're going down Maniototo Station Road, coming up Omnibus Road and coming back into the White South Valley and getting stuck. In that, we pulled one out the other day. I lost an hour and a half of my time, or my truck driver's time. If you have a chain break and it damages a Richardson Group truck because the trucks are driving on roads that aren't fit because the GPS is taken in there. So Paul, I did talk to Paul, and he has got a lady that look at all signage into roads, but I know the black ball out the sticks is the same. I'll go around Lindburn and go up the black ball, try to get sticks on that side. So it's just something made aware of, that when you get a $1 million rig and it's parked in a gully and it could be rolled over because there's a mud track. And that was just something that GPS does. But not only that, for emergency services, if someone puts it in there and it'll go to the wrong place. So it is something. I don't know how we can change the routes of some of those tracks, but you know, a lot of people, if you're a driver, you've come from Auckland, you're driving down a load of pipes or stock, they don't know who to ring up. But
The black one is on Lindburn Runs Road. That runs right to the top of the sticks. So you got Greenfields, Francis used to be, and Mellies, Forests, and that, all on Lindburn Runs Road. So, and if you the ambulance, if you go for mapping thing on that, it puts you over the black wall. which that ambulance won't get over that, so. You've got to go around the long way, and that's fine, but the people don't know it.
Yeah, and the technology, I understand that we were called to a crash the other day, and the technology showed us another place because the cell phone had gone off in the vehicle and sent us to the cell tower. But it was up Mount Ida Road
Oh,
into a ditch, and then it rebooted everyone to the road. Yeah, and it was because the cell phone had done it. So technology, while it's great for people getting to where they go, when it goes to the wrong place, sometimes it hurts, especially for emergency services.
And Melly had trouble with that, didn't he? Years ago. Paul Melly out the sticks had trouble because it showed up there on the old Dunstable through the middle of his place. There was no track at all. Yeah. And he said he never got any traction at all with the people in control until he went fair go. And then he said he got quite a bit of movement. Well, I just think of that bypass road and shortcut road to Naseby. It'll still be on the GPS to the shortest route to Naseby. And we've turned into rough road, link the four-wheel drive road. And it's like you've only got to have someone in a wee hybrid car hit that culvert. And I don't know where the responsibility lies, but they're the wee technological things that come along. Other than that, yeah, no, it's just the normal when heavy grade in the spring. The broom has to be done very soon, or the broom grows 7-fold a year. So if you don't get it now, it's 7 times bigger and use a lot more chemical later on. And that's pretty much it. Go back to Mike Dowling, where we've got great friends, and Mike and Barry Beck are nominated and second me every time I've been in community board. In fact, Mike asked me to stand originally, and when he was chairman of the board in 2001, he came out when the cattle yards wanted me to support him to be chairman. So we had a pretty good understanding, pretty good friendship. But one thing that did stick with me when we did the trust meetings years ago, he said, in this community, we look after the young, we look after the old, and the rest of them look after themselves. And when we sit at trust meetings, we're pretty much that way. And one of the funniest ones was Betty Kelly. The late Betty Kelly had beautiful handwriting. And it was they wanted Evergreens, wanted $200 to go to Larnett's Castle or something, the Evergreens Club. And Mike goes, Betty's got beautiful handwriting, Betty gets it. And that was about the democracy of it, the Evergreen. So he was a wonderful man. And I remember just not that long ago sitting on an oil drum around McLaren while he was getting his truck fixed and couldn't believe the cost that came into it, couldn't believe that. But it is really quite fitting that one of his sons, his younger sons, is for the community board, because it would be great to have a Dowling there. They might reckon he might be a bit fizzy for a start, but he was a great man. But it's a big loss. But we had 2 of them in the last 3 years, and it'll be Barry Becker 3 years to this week probably. And so no, he'll be sadly missed, but great family. And that's my report.
thanks, Stu. Can I have someone move those members' reports, please? Thank you, Hal. Second, please. Mark Harris. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Very thank you. Just Tama. So Tama's on. He's going to jump in.
Technology.
Thanks a lot, technology.
He's a web. It's infrastructure.
now?
Aye. It's in, we're going to.
Camera keeps dying on me, and
A lot of talking, but not very much.
yeah,
That truck that got on up Omni
Done well. Get up round to the back of,
Yeah.
to actually get up there.
But the last thing you want is a chain to break through the windscreen of the truck.
Yeah.
Well, Bruce Blakey telling the truck driver what he should be doing.
I could just say that.
Is it working now?
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
the camera
just
gets
swapped off.
out.
Yeah, no, it was weird. It was like I was looking at the inside of someone's jersey and couldn't hear anything. But I
We
think
can hear
it's
you
right
loud
now.
and clear now.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Thank you for allowing me to Teams in. I'm just in Wellington, so hopefully it's not too noisy in the background. I've just been at the Infrastructure New Zealand conference where Minister Watt, who's the Minister of Local Government, came to speak to the conference, and he was a lot more positive than he has been previously when talking to local government, acknowledging that local government needs some certainty from them, and also that some of the work that they do could be a little bit more collaborative and working with us as opposed to against us. So nice for him to acknowledge that. A couple of big things for us that tie into the work that we have been doing. He did note that a majority of councils in the country were forming regional groups for delivering water services without central government forcing them to or writing a cheque, which I thought was interesting because evidently they have said there's no money coming. So he was very much in support of councils continuing to work together and highlighting those councils as the best councils, and quite critical of councils who are going it alone or thinking that they are going to go it alone. And he was also very clear that if councils did not meet the financial sustainability clause on the 3rd of September, he would be looking to intervene as soon as possible. And also acknowledge that people were tired of the politics around water. And I think we are all quite tired of the politics around water. So hopefully we can draw a line under that as we move forward. There was also a really interesting lunch with Sir Brian Roche, who's the head of the Public Services Commission for New Zealand, and he talked about scaling devolution and empowering our communities, so taking more of the bustle out of Wellington and giving that power back to the communities, and also really highlighted that technology is going to be the next massive asset that councils have, and we need to be really better, a lot better at harnessing the power of that technology. So a couple of positive things to come out of that. In the Maniototo recently, I was out for the business breakfast. It wasn't a breakfast, it was a like dinner, which was a nice change, but it was very well attended at Stu and Lorraine's woolshed. And I really enjoy those ones because they are always well attended. And I also wanted to highlight that once again, the Maniototo has made the Kia Ora magazine on Air New Zealand flights, and this time it has got a beautiful 2-page photo of the Maniototo Adventure Park. So well done. Well and truly batting above your population weight. That's all from me, but you've disappeared, so hopefully it works.
The next meeting is the 18th September, 2 p.m. is normal, was it 2 p.m. one?